So after the top part of our anchor chart is complete with character and setting, I then inform the class that it's time for us to practice retelling the story. I will reference our anchor chart that we made the week before. And on the anchor chart, we have a roller coaster. So we have a little card that indicates beginning, middle, and end. And so that's kind of our action that we use for retelling a story, beginning, middle, and end. And that's also great for our English language learners because it gives them an action and a visual to reference when thinking about retelling the story. So we practice doing this all together with my support. I have these cards that I would have cut out individually, and I'll display them in front of the class on the smartboard. Then together as a class, I'll be doing all the manipulating of the cards. We'll put the story in order of what happened beginning to end. And we'll do that, like I said, all together with a lot of teacher support. After we complete that, we will go back through and quickly retell the story. First, this happened. Then this happened. Last, this happened. After we do that, then I'll tell them it's time to play a retelling game. And they love doing this kind of thing. Anytime we have to sequence events, whether it be sequencing like the butterfly life cycle, plant life cycle, or retelling a story, we play a similar game. So each group of students, I'll break them out into 5 groups, will have a Ziploc baggie with smaller sequencing cards. There's 5 cards in each baggie, and there'll be 5 students in each group. They look like this. Of course, they'd be cut here, and each square would be in the bag individually. So then their goal as a group of 5 is to put themselves in order from beginning to end. So each student will have 1 card, and they'll put themselves in order from beginning to end. This is great for my English language learners because they're doing cooperative learning. They're having to use their oral language skills, as well as putting their comprehension skills at work too. So they work together in a group to put themselves in order. When they're done, they indicate that they're finished by putting 2 fingers high up in the sky. Myself or our para will come along and check. If they did it right, then we'll shake up the cards and they get to try again. If they do it wrong, we assist them in getting them into the right order. So each group will do that. This doesn't take a whole lot of time, maybe 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the groups and kind of how the day is going. So they love doing that. Like I said, it's like a quick small group activity. I already have everything prepped and ready for that in little Ziplocs. Each group gets one. They put themselves in order. We review the order with them, and then if they finish before everyone else, we let them try again, just to continue to practice those skills. So after everyone's done with that, we collect the bags. They all come back to their carpet spots. Excuse me. And we tell them now it's time for them to practice sequencing the story all by themselves. So this is the product that I will use to see how well the students comprehended our objective. Did they achieve the objective? Do they still need support? That in addition to all of my anecdotal notes. So again, when they're doing the small group activity of sequencing, I have my little box here for retelling, and I'm going to be going around and listening to the group's work. I'll notice if one student isn't participating in the conversation. I'll notice if one student's like totally saying off the wall, like, you know, the pigs went to the wolf's house. You know, that's just crazy. So I would know, like, okay, they need some more support. Or I'll know, okay, they're on target and we can keep moving on. So again, I keep that on a little clipboard and I use it all the time to keep track of my students' data and where they're at with certain objectives. So we come back whole group. I tell them they're going to get to try. We did it with me helping them. They did it in a group, and now they get to try sequencing the story all by themselves. So again, similar to the pictures that are in the baggies, each student will get 1 rectangle of the 5 squares, and they'll get a worksheet that looks like this, and it says sequence of events. So they will have to cut and paste the sequence of events onto this worksheet, and they do this all by themselves with no teacher support. Now, for my English language learners, I will have a scaffold worksheet for the students who need it. Not all of my English language learners need additional support with these objectives. Some of them will. So I might have one of these with, you know, the 2 middle ones already filled out or something like that, depending on what the students need and depending on what I see. I also most of the time have a para in for my literacy block, so I'll be able to assign her to help certain students who may need additional support. For my friend who needs help cutting, I'll make sure that she either has a peer that can help her or, again, myself or the para. Similar to the other activities that we do, I will be going around with my clipboard and taking any notes of anything that I see. And I also collect the independent activity at the end so that I can see, did they sequence it correctly? Did they sequence it correctly? And if not, I'll know where their mistake was and how I can go back and review that. So that will be the product that I collect, will be the worksheet as well as my anecdotal notes. So I'll know from those two things where to go with my lesson from that point. So thanks for listening to my long-winded lesson plan presentation, and good luck in your upcoming school year.